Episode number 163 of Making the Case. How secure people move in relationships. Let's get it. Hey, what up, YouTube? We back at you with another episode of Making the Case, episode number 163. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points in our people, and then two, we don't do all that cussing derogatory stuff because we're professional over here. Okay. Hey, so today's episode, we're talking about how secure people move in relationships. Okay. Now, we hear a lot about insecure people, so much so that I believe that people probably don't know how secure people look or, how they act, how they behave, and things of that nature, right? So today's episode is going to be dedicated to breaking down what a secure relationships look like, right? One thing that I can tell you is how a secure relationship look like is when two people are secure in a relationship, they understand conflict. They understand how to handle conflict because they understand that context matters, right? Every situation is going to be handled differently, right? Because every situation is going to have a different context, right? And secure people also understand that you're not attacking the person, you're attacking the problem, okay? Two people who understand what the goal is in their relationship has built and set a foundation, right? Who has worked on themselves, who has worked on communication within the relationship. And that's another thing that secure people do in relationship. They communicate well, right? They're able to articulate themselves. They're able to emotionally express themselves. Of course, people call it emotional intelligence. I like to call it emotional maturity, which I've said before on this channel. So these are some things that secure people do in relationships, right? And it bodes well for them as they matriculate throughout the years, right? Not saying that secure people can't break up, right? It's just that even if that does happen, right, it happens in a very mature way, not all the cussing and hollering and the dysfunction and the hoopla, right? So I have a video for you. It's pretty long, so we won't watch all of it, but they're going to break down, some more things that secure people do in relationships and may even touch on some things that I just shared with you, right? So go get you some popcorn, go get your favorite beverage, come back, check the video out, okay? Without further ado, let's get into it.
Just felt easy, not because you never had disagreements, but because when you did, you just knew that everything would be okay. You knew that you were on the same team. You felt like it was safe to be yourself because you didn't have to overthink every little text, every word, like guess what that shift in their energy meant. Because deep down, you knew you were valued, you knew you were respected, and you knew that your partner loved you. And that's what a secure relationship feels like. And if that doesn't sound familiar, don't worry, because secure relationships aren't something that you just stumble upon. They're something that you create. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to share a resource that can help with that. So, hi, I'm Kaylee Larkin. I help people to break free from anxious attachment patterns and attract the secure and fulfilling relationships that they desire. And I have to say that one of the most profound shifts that I've seen both in my own life and with the people that I work with is that aha moment where someone experiences the difference between an insecure relationship and a secure relationship for the first time. It's like suddenly realizing, oh, like love isn't supposed to feel like a guessing game. Love isn't supposed to be hard. It's supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel safe. So let's talk about that. What does a secure relationship actually look like? And
And before she gets into that, I want to comment on the point that she just made. No, it's not supposed to not feel good. It's not supposed to feel like, it's a constant grind. But relationships do take work, right? So that would be, if you ever heard it, people say relationships are difficult or hard. That would be what they're referencing to, right? In order to have a secure relationship, you have to put in the work in order to get to a place with another human being, because it is challenging just living life on our own, right? Because we're constantly, I always say, we're constantly living in our head. Everybody does, right? We thinking about what we gotta do tomorrow or next week. We thinking about when we gotta get the kid. Like, it's so much stuff that's going on inside our head. So it's challenging just trying to focus and deal with our own anxiety and things of that nature. Now, when you add another person into it, it just changes the ball game. So relationship is work, but it shouldn't be a grind and shouldn't be strenuous and things of that nature, because the two of you should come to an understanding of how it should work, like a well-oiled machine. Let's get into it.
I want to start with something that a lot of people struggle with, and that's conflict. So, in a secure relationship, disagreements do happen, but they don't leave you feeling anxious or wondering like where you stand. So, imagine this. One partner gets home from the grocery store and the other partner realizes they forgot to pick up something important. Let's say it's milk for a recipe. So, in an insecure relationship, this could easily spiral. The frustrated partner might be like, seriously, I reminded you about the milk, like you never listened to me. And their partner, who's now feeling attacked, might snap back, like, oh my God, it's just milk. Why are you making such a big deal out of everything? And now it's no longer just milk. It's about feeling unheard, feeling unappreciated, and people are getting defensive. So, in a secure relationship, that reaction looks very different. Instead of blaming, the first person just says like, "Ooh, I needed that milk for the sauce I'm making tonight." And then their partners remains calm and they might say something like, "Oh, I can go grab some if you need it," or "I'll just order a quick delivery." Or maybe they just really don't have time because of work. They might say something like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I can't make it back with work, but is there something else that we can use instead?" So, do you see the difference? There's no one taking it personally. There's no silent treatment. There's no passive aggressive emotional withdrawal.
And sorry, but I have to touch on this because that's what I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, right? Conflict looks different because it's based off context. And that is what she's saying, right? It's how two people are communicating and talking with one another, because it's like, I know, because when you're in a secure relationship, you give that person the benefit of the doubt. It's like, I know you didn't mean to do that on purpose, right? So let's figure out a solution to this problem that we now have on our hand. Context, right? And once again, I want to reiterate, these are blind watches that I do for the videos that I choose, right? Because if the video is not saying things similar to what I'm saying, then, and I'm not saying that I know everything, but what I am saying is that I do research and I do study these topics that we often talk about, if not all of them, right? Because this is the field of expertise that I'm in, right? So when the video aligns with my talking points, there you go. Okay, that's a shameless plug, I guess. Let's get back into it.
There's just a small moment of problem solving. And a secure relationship, it doesn't mean that you don't get frustrated. It just means that frustration doesn't become a full blown argument. It doesn't become a full blown emotional crisis. And you know that you're on the same team. So even when there's a misstep, that focus, it stays on the solution, not on the blame. Another way to recognize a secure relationship is you don't have to guess where you stand. So let's say you're dating someone and you go on an amazing date. You laugh, you connect, you're having a great time. You're really relating with them well, you have a lot in common. And at the end of the night, they say, "Oh, I can't wait to see you again." And then Nothing. So a few days go by and you're left wondering, did they even mean that? So that's not security, obviously. In a secure relationship, if someone says they'll call, they actually do. If they care about you, they don't just say it, they show it, and they show it consistently. And of course, sometimes, right, life gets in the way, but they mend, they make repairs for that. It's consistent most of the time. And getting this, like, this secure effort, this consistent, supportive, stable effort, it feels steady. So it doesn't feel like a roller coaster ride. And that's what builds trust. And trust is what makes a relationship feel safe and predictable in all the best ways. And when that happens, that flows downstream into other areas like chemistry. So here's something important: attraction isn't supposed to feel like anxiety. So let's say you just started seeing someone new. And in one scenario, you're overanalyzing their behavior, or you're constantly analyzing their behavior. Like, why did they take so long to text back? Like, did I say something wrong? Are they just not into me? Like, what's going on? And then when you're around them, maybe it feels really intense, maybe even really great. But then they pull away and you get this kind of sinking feeling in your stomach. Okay, that's one scenario. So put that aside. And now imagine a different scenario. You meet somebody, and instead of feeling like you're on edge, you feel relaxed. You don't feel like you have to perform or impress them. You can just relax and enjoy your time together. It's really great. It's fun. You're excited to spend time with them. And you also feel good when you're apart. So, that second scenario, that's a secure relationship. That's what a secure relationship feels like. And when your nervous system is calm in a relationship, it means that your body trusts that the connection is safe. So, if you've ever mistaken anxiety for chemistry, which a lot of people do, it might be worth asking, is this attraction or is this just unpredictability? Because they can kind of feel similar in the nervous system. Another key sign of a secure relationship is you can move between connection and independence without a whole lot of fuss. So, picture this: it's Saturday morning, and two people in a relationship, they're trying to decide what to do for the day. And one
And we're
person,
gonna stop it right there because I think she touched on some really key points in this video. So we're just gonna take it and we're gonna wrap things up with the points that she's already made. But I do believe that the last point that she touched on, the interdependence, because of course, you know my position, right? We're not independent, we're interdependent, right? Well, that's in relationships, friendships, in society in general, right? We don't do everything, right? So a secure relationships understand that we have time together and we have time apart, and it's okay, right? And I have enough trust in you to know that you're not doing anything that would harm or be a detriment to the relationship, right? When two people are really, she talked about the chemistry, right? When two people are really locked in together, right? When two people are secure and they're not thinking that, oh, this person's gonna be cheating on me. Now, I will say this: if cheating has happened in the past, this is gonna be difficult, right? Because that just takes time to build back up that trust if it can ever be built back up again, right? But we're talking about two individuals that have been locked in. They communicate well. They understand that they do things together. They do things with friends. Um, Things of that nature, right? So being secure with a person means what she was touching on and I was touching on in the beginning. It means communication, and it means understanding how to handle conflict effectively, how to communicate without changing your tone, raising your voice, things of that nature, right? So these are the things that secure people do in relationships, right? It's not toxic, it's not dysfunctional, it's not topsy turvy, right? Understand that life is about ebbs and flows. So your relationship will have ebbs and flows. It will seem like a roller coaster sometimes, but it's not the fact that it's going to be ebbs and flows. The fact that how you handle situations when they do occur. That's the difference between a secure relationship and a relationship that hasn't built a solid foundation. All right. We're going to end it on that note, man. Y'all know I already appreciate you, man. Hey, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think, right? Have you built that foundation to have a secure relationship? Do you have a secure relationship now? Let me know what you think in the comments, all right? But as always, I'm you and me. Love always, love eternal. Remember, worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, all right? Deuces. One love.